There's this Thomas Jefferson quote that I just love. It says, "Peace is that glorious time in history when everyone stands around reloading." I think that's so true. Like in a culture where our access to power, influence, and judgment is faster than our access to knowledge and relationship, it's like our bullets take on the shape of the most recent divisive tweet or TikTok or post. But we don't need gunpowder to hit our target nowadays. We can just hop on the latest and greatest LTE connection and just fire our thoughts right into the neural pathways of thousands of people. And the sketchy part about this is that the average North American spends like 3 hours a day on their phone. So that's a lot of time spent in the digital fray. It's like we've got this contemporary shell shock, this PTSD, where our culture revolves around a hyper-emotional reactivity. Our society preaches tolerance, but we're so bad at practicing it. It's like you say anything that isn't in line with my worldview, and I ought to set you straight, or I gotta shelter and protect myself by canceling you. And this makes sense, I guess, because the media profits off of feeding our vices, not our virtues. We are injected with attitude and behavior, instead of learning how to think critically. It's an incredible power humans have, to be able to make other people feel the way you want them to feel. And in our increasingly polarized and polarizing climate, it's like we've collectively made this general consensus that the world is split into two types of people, good and bad, that issues are just black and white. Quick tangent. So our bodies are systems. We have an input, our eyes and ears, where we take in the things happening around us or to us. We have a housing system, our bodies, our brains, where we process and filter this incoming information. And then we have an output, the things we say and the actions we take. And for the most part, things happen around us that we don't have control over. But obviously we have control over what we choose to bring into the world through our words and actions. It's that age-old saying, it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of it. Okay, back to the piece. So this was actually inspired by a happy Photoshop mistake, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, this is interesting. So I wanted to explore it, and here are a couple things I discovered. So the angel standing on a high pedestal parallels how we get to stand on our soapbox whenever we have something to say to countless people, kind of like in this video right now. Of course, the trumpet amplifies the message, and the negative square in this piece serves as a double entendre. Of course, it's inverted in the negative, but it also represents the negative filter we tend to use when processing the words and deeds of others. But then, of course, we create our own actions and we blow the trumpet ourselves. And that's why the end of the trumpet isn't in the negative. There's a certain permanence our words have once they leave our mouths. And I'm sure we all remember things said to us from decades ago, from teachers or coaches or friends, parents, that have had an impact on us for better or for worse. And we still remember it all these years later. Like, that's crazy. And that's also such an incredible responsibility each of us have. See, our culture of this extreme comfort and excess information makes it so easy to inform, but really difficult to engage. Our minds become obese with data and our hearts just lie atrophied. Like, how often have you seen the words patience and humility nowadays? Because they're really good at peacemaking, but they don't seem worth the effort in our fast-paced, consumerist, extremely individualistic culture. I guess the question is this: are we consuming or contending? Are we sharing life-giving content, or are we just recirculating the same anxious, noisy, life-taking information and refurbishing it with a new way of saying the same thing? Because through these small, seemingly insignificant choices, we slowly choose if we want to be made of life or made of stone.